Derby County have been linked with the loan signing of Harry Amass, the 18-year-old Man United youth prospect who joined Manchester United from Watford earlier on in his career. Now at 18 years old, he stands at 1.81 metres tall, obviously, as mentioned, a left back, and he currently plays for England's under 18s, where he's made 7 appearances so far. He's valued at around €5 million, but is he a player who could come into Derby County and have an instant impact as sort of one of those defensive options? I certainly think it is a possibility. Now, obviously, Harry Amass has a long way to go in his career. Obviously, just 18 years old. If he comes in and has a brilliant loan spell at Derby County, who knows where he may end up. And for me, I think this could be a really good one for Derby County. When you add that sort of youth hunger, you add the youth naivety, you add that sort of potential to the squad, I think it's brilliant for a club. And obviously Derby County last season had one of the average ages at the top of the league, which obviously wasn't great for us, and hopefully that's something that can be changed heading into this upcoming season, and the loan signing of Harry Amass would certainly do that. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's take a deeper look into Harry Amass. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now, Harry Amass is a player who would potentially be joining Derby County from Manchester United. It looks as if it would be a loan deal. Now, obviously, with him being just 18 years old, there's not a great deal of data to look into, but he has made his debut for Manchester United's senior team, that being in the Premier League as well as in Europa competitions. And that's obviously really important to note when we look at a player like Harry Amass, because there's obvious quality there, and that is why he's been given the opportunity to play for Manchester United's senior team at such a young age. Now, he's contracted at Manchester United up until the summer of 2027. He's currently valued at £5 million, and he's made 7 appearances for England's under 18s. Now, and I believe he's probably with England's national team right now in regards of the youth teams, but don't quote me on that one. I'm not entirely sure. Now, again, a left back, stands at 1.81 metres tall. Was apparently born in London, but I don't necessarily think that's relevant. And if I haven't mentioned already, is contracted until the summer of 2027. Now, obviously, this deal, I think it's quite obvious that it would be a loan deal for the fullback to give him that option of extra football and first team football. And if you look at how Derby County handled the move with Harrison Armstrong last season, Harrison Armstrong was absolutely phenomenal and fundamental to Derby County staying in the Championship last season. And I think that's always sort of big to look at, because when you're sort of an academy manager and you're looking at where you could send a player and who they could go and play for, you want to know that they've got a record of not only developing young talent but giving youngsters opportunities. And I think that's a problem that Derby County faced a few years ago under the likes of Paul Warne, because in my opinion Paul Warne didn't often give youngsters the opportunity, and it sort of was one of those situations where he'd happily have youngsters in the squad, but whether they'd play or not is a completely different conversation. And now when we look at Harry Amass, if you look at how John Eustace handled Harrison Armstrong, if you look at the introduction of the likes of Charles Abuka, Lennon Wheeldon, I think Owen Eames was on the bench at one point, Cruz Allen as well under John Eustace's tenure. And now obviously you've got to make sure that the players are good enough before you give them the opportunity. And from my time at Derby County, I know that some of these loan players, that before they actually sign on the dotted line at a club, they will go and have a couple of week trial Now, obviously, with it being June, they can't obviously do that at the moment, but I know that Lewis Dobbin had been at Derby County for a few days before it was actually announced to the public, because he was essentially checked over by the likes of Liam Rossini, the likes of the coaching staff. I believe Justin Walker was still there as well at that time, and obviously that's really important that you have the right sort of players within the squad, and when you bring in a player, they're not sort of in that position where they're going to get essentially sort of left on the bench 24/7 and not actually given the opportunity to play football. Now, if we take a bit of a deeper look into Harry Amass so far in his career, he's made 5 Premier League appearances, he's made 2 appearances in the Europa League, so that's 7 senior appearances at this point in time, but he's also made appearances in the Under-18s Premier League, Premier League 2, the FA Youth Cup, UEFA Youth League as well, and obviously the EFL Trophy, where he would have played for Man United's, is it the Under-23s that play in that competition? Now, he's most notably played across the course of left back and left wing back, or left midfield, whatever you want to consider it. He's made 19 appearances at left back based on the data from youth and senior football, 5 in left wing back, with 4 assists to his name. Now, he didn't come from Manchester United. His start to life came from Watford, and he made that move to Manchester United afterwards, if I remember correctly. And it's one of those for me where I think he could be a very, very good player. I think at the moment with a player like Harry Amass coming to join Derby County, is you've obviously got to open the door to the conversation of maybe he's not going to get as much football as maybe he desires. But if you look across the course of last season, obviously playing 7 times for the senior team of Manchester United, if he can come into Derby and make 20, 30 appearances, whether that be starts off the bench, I think that'll be really good for him. And obviously championship level football is obviously really good, and obviously we know it would be a loan deal, and obviously would be sort of in that sort of contention for backup for the likes of Callum Elder, Craig Forsyth when he eventually signs his new contract, Ben Osborne in that left back position as well, and obviously can play left wing back as well. And I think he would then get the nod above sort of a Craig Forsyth in the sense of his age group and things like that, because obviously being 18 years old, he's going to be able to get up and down that wing a lot better than someone like Craig Forsyth. Now, Craig Forsyth may have the experience and that sort of tactical edge over Harry, but ultimately I think when you look at someone like Harry Amass, you're not bringing him in to sort of be that player to see out a game. You're bringing him in as a player who's going to be able to show you exactly what he can do and the potential that he's got. And he's not going to be the finished article, he's not going to be the end product, and he's not going to be that player that ultimately makes you a promotion winning side, in my opinion. But he will be a player who shows you the quality of youth and the naivety of youth, in my opinion. I believe I have watched him a couple of times when it comes to him playing for Manchester United, and I always think when it comes to defenders, if you don't know their name, or you don't have to think about who they are, they're doing a good job. That's my personal opinion, because if they're not involved, they're not getting beat by their man, they're not losing tackles, they're not losing the ball, and you've not got to worry about them. That's the exact type of defender you want in your team. And when at Derby County we sort of look into that, you look at a player like Matt Clark, Craig Forsyth, Nat Phillips, obviously this season. In my opinion, you don't sort of have to think about them. They do their job. They win their headers. They win their duels. They don't really mess up in possession. They're the sort of players that you want in your team because it's comfortable. It's consistent. You know exactly what is coming from that sort of play. You know exactly what is coming when they are being sort of in a one-on-one battle, maybe a 2v1 battle with winger and fullback coming against you. You know what you're going to get. You know what to expect. And obviously that's something which we sort of need this season, is players who you know what you're going to get. Now, I think with Harry Amass, you don't necessarily get that, but you do get that sort of youth energy, which I think is really important for a side, especially a side like Derby County, who, if you were to look at our squad last season, I think we had one of the highest average ages in the league, and that's certainly something which needs to be dropped. And I think with an introduction of Harry Amass, we certainly could do that. Now, some people might turn around and go, well, why aren't we giving someone like Tristan Gill or a left back from our academy, maybe an Isaac Gordon, a Case Gordon, why are we not giving them the opportunities to sort of see if they can prove themselves in the first team before we start looking at 18-year-olds from elsewhere? And yes, I do agree. I think Derby County should should start to look at their youth prospects a lot more than they currently do. But that's obviously something which will have to be looked upon over the next few months, and obviously over the course of this year, where I think John Eustace will have a much better sort of go ahead with that than we did under the likes of Paul Warne. But you can obviously let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. There will be a full video tomorrow discussing Harry Amass on his own. There'll also be a video discussing James Maxwell as well. So if you have not done so already, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you tomorrow in a video about both players. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.